So, welcome to the Yoga Podcast. My name is Malou, and I've been practicing yoga for several years. And my yogic journey actually brought me here to Cambodia about 7 months ago. And I'm here in Aum Yoga Center, Siem Reap. And I'm here with Shiva, who has been in Cambodia for about 6.5 years now, working here. And he started his yogic journey very early, actually, in his childhood. And today we're just going to talk a little bit more about what yoga is and what a person really needs to practice yoga. So that's actually my question to you, Shiva. Could you explain a little bit what yoga is and how anyone can start practicing?
First of all, thank you for introducing me, Malou, and it's been a great time in Cambodia, working here for such a long time now, and I wish to be here more. So, yeah, first I want to speak about what I feel. I feel I'm not a yoga teacher, but I'm a yoga practitioner, and there's a big difference. I think this difference is being humble towards yoga and the practice, and also being not so judgmental about ourselves. So it really helps me to stay grounded. So I often say that I'm a sadhaka, a practitioner, but not a teacher. So and I'm just sharing my practice, whoever I meet in my path. It is not only has to be on the yoga mat. It can also be on a train journey or a flight journey when I'm talking about yoga with people. And I feel like somehow I feel from within that I need to talk about it with everyone I meet in my journey. That's how much benefit it has bring into my life. So to answer your question, yoga for me is the word yoga comes from a yuj word in Sanskrit. It's called yuj, which means union. Now, union of what? Union can be of different things in life. Like there can be different unions in our life, from being with our parents to our partners. That is also union. But a union within oneself is yoga. So it's basically bringing our mind close to the consciousness, to letting the thoughts disappear through different practices and techniques, and bringing it closer to our consciousness and intellect. So whatever we are answering, however we are behaving, we actually are looking at ourselves instead of putting our emotions on the outside world. So for me, yoga is bringing myself to that union of the mind, body and soul, and bringing myself closer to the consciousness. That's what is yoga to me. Yeah.
You said the yoga of the mat. It's not just in the shalas where we practice, but you said anywhere you are, you kind of want to talk about it. Could you give an example of that, of anywhere?
Yeah, so actually I often say to all my friends and family that it is not just a practice, it is a way of life. So it's actually living your lifestyle. That is yoga. It's like being aware of everything you're doing. That is what I mean by being closer to your consciousness. It's by being aware, being in the present of whatever decisions we are making in life, of whatever actions we are making in life, and being aware that we are truly on this path, truly living a lifestyle, not just doing a 1 hour practice in the morning or the evening or going to a studio. It's about being there with yourself. And I can explain it to you in a way. Is like there's a difference between being alone and lonely. I think being alone is a feeling which the world has given to us. Oh, this person is alone, and like being lonely is a chance to be within you, is a chance to be with yourself, to understand yourself. and that is yoga. So whenever I'm meeting someone, either it is a flight, a train, or just walking somewhere, I often, without any intention towards it that I'm going to talk about yoga, I often end up talking about yoga with everyone. Yeah.
For a lot of people, yoga starts by practicing on the mat. It's kind of what is most known, the physical practice of it. Now, when people get interested, where can they go? What do they need to do next? There's so much information out there.
I think they just need to let go and go wherever the path takes them. I think because, yes, of course, I would say in the Western world, yoga starts on the mat. But if you go back to India, yoga starts when you are eating food, because you're eating in an asana on the floor mostly. I grew up eating food sitting down on the floor and intercrossed legs, and also yoga starts when your mom tells you, oh, please don't eat this in the evening or that in the morning, because it is not according to yogic lifestyle. So when I grew up, everything around me and many people back at home is they're living yoga in their everyday life. But yes, in the Western world, for sure, yoga starts on the mat. On the mat, and there's nothing wrong with it. I know, like, they're different. I'm a strong hatha practitioner, but I know that there are different styles of yoga, and I don't judge them. I somehow feel they are brands of yoga, but I don't judge them, because I feel they are still opening doors for people to come into this practice. So I feel whichever practice it is, whichever style, whichever brand of yoga the person is doing, eventually when they practice longer, the consciousness will take them closer to actually meditation and chanting and those kind of paths to bring the journey more inwards. Yeah.
What are the essentials to practice yoga?
So there are different essentials. I would term it in 5 essentials to learn the practice of yoga, but also keep on practicing them to learn yoga. It's like it goes vice versa. So the first one is Anushasana, which means governing your own self. Second is called Shraddha, which is giving trust to the practice. Third is Vairagya, which means being away from the distractions. And fourth is Sadhana or Abhyasa, which means embodiment of the practice. And the fifth is surrender, Samarpan, surrender to the practice. So I can actually further divide them and explain them further. Anushasan, there is a word also, Prashasan. Prashasan, we generally refer to someone making the rules, governing us. So we often say in India that government is the Prashasan, because they are having some rules, some norms, and they are governing us. And Anushasan, which is literally translated as self-discipline, but it is not actually self-discipline. It is self-ruling of yourself. There's a big difference between discipline and self-rule. Discipline will actually bound you to do something, like you're like disciplined. So that brings more like willpower in. But self-rule is more like I am in control of all the emotions within me, and I'm ruling my own self. I'm ruling my mind. So for example, if the second cup of ice cream, I don't need it, I can rule myself that I don't need that ice cream. I'm like ruling myself that I don't need that. That is Anushasan. Then Anushasan brings that consistency in the effort of being on the path, of ruling yourself in whatever you do, of practicing yoga in the morning, to having a proper diet, to having a proper sleep, everything which is actually self-love and taking care of yourself. So ruling yourself helps in that process. That is the first one, Anushasan.
Right. So would you say there is more an intention of self-love behind it than discipline has, or
I would say, because self-love is something else, that is sadhana. I have used that word to describe it, that Anushasan, self-ruling, will bring us closer to self-love. But self-ruling itself is done by the intellect. So in yogic terms, we take the mind and the intellect differently.
yeah.
So the mind is something mischievous in yogic terms, and we always have to trick the mind with the help of the intellect. So mind is the storage of all the subconscious, all the traumas in your life, all the good and bad experience in your life is the mind. And intellect, which we call Vijnanamaya Kosha, the fourth body, is actually the decision maker. So I think Anushasan comes from the intellect, is the decision maker to make actions and accountability and decisions based on your subconscious.
Yeah.
And also, of course, self-love is included because you are still in some way taking care of yourself. You are with the self-governing yourself, self-ruling yourself, you are coming closer to self-love. Yes, that is Anushasan.
Second essential.
The second essential is Shraddha. Shraddha means having trust in the practice. So it's like, it's not blind belief. I'm not saying do blind belief in the practice of yoga. No, it's more about trust in the experience which you get from it. It's like you are practicing it. You went to a yoga class, you practiced it, and see what you experienced out of it. When you came out of the class, did you feel calmer? Did you feel that you were more aware of your breath? Did you feel, oh yeah, this part of my body needs some stretch? And that trust comes only with experience. So first is self-ruling, governing, and second is trusting the experience. Because the experience which you experience yourself is not false, is the complete truth for yourself. It's your own experience. So that is where I say Shraddha, like put 5% trust in it and the 95% trust will follow. It will come, it will come by itself.
And how is that trust kind of different than surrender to?
Yeah, actually surrender, which is the fifth one, we're going to talk about it later. But I can say trust is different because initially in a human mind, first thing is attraction, curiosity towards something. Second is trusting. And surrender is a bigger word which comes later. Which comes later with the practice that you have completely surrendered. But trust is bringing you closer to that surrender.
I see.
Yeah. So that's the second essential.
And the third one?
Third one, Vairagya. Vairagya means being away from any distraction. Being away from any distraction. If you know that this is your goal, if you are completely now already self-ruling yourself, you're trusting yourself, you know that this is your path, then why you are still being distracted? Then what is actually making you distracted? Why are you attracted to, what makes you attracted to things which are not on your path? So basically, Vairagya is a process. Vairagya is being away from the distractions. Whatever thing come between you and your goal and your path is a distraction towards you. So Vairagya is being aware of that distraction, first of all. Second is getting rid of that distraction. And third is creating your own Sangha. Have you heard the word Sangha?
Yeah, for sure.
Sangha is like community, is like the people you hang out with, is like the books you're reading. And in these times, it is also the content you're watching.
Yes, for sure.
Sangha is also the content you're watching. If you're practicing yoga and then watching some crazy things on the internet, then you are not in your sangha. It's like, actually, it's like lying to yourself that I'm on the path and pretending to be on the path. So it's very, very important that if you're in the path, you are away from those distractions and creating your own sangha, your friends, your community, your family, and with the trust, it will happen eventually. Like as we begin this podcast, and I was telling you that I find myself ending up talking about yoga. So even people who are not familiar to it, somehow I bring them close to it. Just by speaking about it all the time. Yeah. So that is Vairagya.
And do you think there's like more challenges with that kind of distraction in our modern day society? Because of course the online world, yes, you can find Sangha there, but the next video might be just a cat video or like something funny, and we might be scrolling for hours.
So yeah, of course, the mind will always get attracted because it is mischievous, as we talked about it.
Yeah.
So you need to use the intellect every time. So you be like, if you have an algorithm on your Instagram Reels, you need to work on that algorithm, and then it will learn to serve you the content which you need. So of course, it's a consistent effort. It's a consistent practice to do it. It's not like you start it today and not do it tomorrow. That's why I say it's a lifestyle, because you need to be with it all the time, right? So yeah. It needs a lot of effort, but also it depends. In a way, it needs a lot of effort. In a way, it doesn't need any effort, because you know that you are being on this practice and this is your path. So everything around it, outside of it, it's the outside world to you. It's not your world. It's about creating your own world.
The fourth one?
That one is called Abhyas or Sadhana. Abhyas, we can call it physically, but I would rather use the word Sadhana. Sadhana means self-love practice or embodiment practice. Okay. First, before even I start with it, I would like to give you some examples. For example, you came to Cambodia and you learned how to start riding a motorbike, right?
Yeah.
And first day you're like, oh, where to brake, where to clutch, where to put on the race, and like, oh, someone is coming from here, the little boy is riding from here, and you're like, oh, overwhelmed by the situation. But then you slowly every day practicing, now you don't think about it. Automatically the hand is going on the clutch, automatically the hand is going on the brake, automatically everything is happening just because you are taking it from your senses, and then because you have practiced enough, right? You have embodied these practice in you. Or as a swimmer, when you start breathing in the pool first time, it's like, for me, as a child, it was a terrible feeling to like, like breathe in the pool, and I was like, whoa, this is the toughest thing I have ever done. And then slowly with practice, I embodied it, and I experienced so much of pleasure just swimming in the pool. So it's all about practicing. All our life, we are practicing. If we are practicing, all that sangha which we were talking about, the community around you, is a practice. You know, you need to be sure what you're getting attracted to. So, for example, someone gets attracted to some negative emotions, negative feelings. So basically, they have practiced that negative feeling and emotion for a long time. And that's why they're negative now. It's every day what they're doing, right?
Yes.
So every day, if you're trying to be positive, you will embody the positivity and you can give it to others, right?
Yeah.
So sadhana is like that. It's self-love practice. It's like you're practicing it every day for yourself. You have the whole time for everyone else, but what about the time for yourself? So when people talk about yoga, oh, I'm going to do yoga practice tomorrow morning. They feel like it is a work which they have to do. It is a task which they have to complete, and it is something on their bucket list every day which they have to take. No, it's about self-love. It's not a task. It's about being with yourself. It's so loving the practice and seeing it as a loving practice for yourself, which will give you calm, which will give you peace, which will give you contentment, which will give you satisfaction. That is actually sadhana, the self-love embodiment of the practice.
So would you say people might need a certain motivation
Yes.
to want that?
Mm-hmm.
I think so often a lot of motivations come from the idea that we're lacking something, that we're not good enough, or that we need to improve ourselves. So would you say sadhana is not about kind of that lacking, it's coming from a different place? Or?
Look, lacking and gaining is a part of life, right? But being close to yourself, that is where sadhana comes from. To know about your own self, to be with your own self. Because in this world of dopamine, we are like always trying to get another dopamine, more by reading a book, by running. And we are only thinking about doing. Doing this, doing that. Oh, what should I do next? Oh, this I should do that. Next this, next this, next this. But what about being? Being with myself. Getting bored with myself. Breathing with myself. Thinking with myself intentionally. That is sadhana. It's not about doing, it's about being. The last one is called samarpan, which means surrender. That comes with the practice of the first four. Anushasana, self-ruling of yourself. Shraddha, trusting the process. Vairagya, detachment. Abhyas or sadhana, embodiment of the practice. And samarpan is surrender. I'll give you an example of it. I go from one teacher to another. One teacher says that in particular pose, you have to breathe like this. And the other teacher says, in that particular pose, you have to breathe like this. Now you have already learned with the first teacher, breathe like this. Now you can't you will have resistance with the second teacher. But second teacher is teaching this according to their experience. And that's where the surrender comes. Surrender comes like my Guruji, my teacher, he used to talk about it. Like imagine a bowl is in your hand, bowl full of rice. Okay? And then you want to put more rice on it, but you can't put it, right? Can you put rice in the full bowl of rice?
It will fall off.
It will fall apart, right? Sure. So you have to empty the bowl to put something new in the bowl, right? In the same way, imagine your bowl is your mind. You have to empty the mind, and it is a process because the mind is full of your subconsciousness. So where you grew up, how were the situations in your family, everything comes along, right? And you have to surrender it all to learn something new. That is what samarpan is. Real surrender to the consciousness, getting close to myself, and that is my own truth.
In my mind, surrender was something really passive. Like, we have to surrender. It's like there's nothing active in that. And now hearing you talk about it, it seems actually like quite an active thing in like letting go. And it's somehow, how do you look at that?
Surrender is the final place. But also the first place is acceptance. Right? Surrender comes with acceptance. Right? Now, you had a situation in your life, you had a trauma about something. How long will you keep complaining about itself? Because the mind will resist. Why this only happens to me? Why this happened to me in my life? What did I do wrong so that this happened to my life? It will again and again remind you to feel bad. It will again and again remind you to complain and be negative. And acceptance and surrender invites you to let go. Acceptance and surrender tells, okay, this happened, I accept it. Okay, this happened, I put my samarpan, I surrender to it. I can't change it, it is my past. What I can change is my future. So surrender helps to develop ourselves, to grow ourselves. Because without surrender, it's all about complaining, it's all about growing the negative feelings instead of the positive feelings. So surrender and acceptance helps us to let go.
All right, thank you so much for watching this podcast. Thank you, Shiva, for all the amazing answers.
Thank you, Malou.
And we'll definitely be back. There's many more things I'd like to talk about yoga and yoga philosophy. And so, see you next time.
See you next time. Om.